You don't need me anymore, do you? She asked, voice trembling, eyes searching for something that felt like purpose. He looked down silent. And just like that, her world shrank to silence. This is the reality behind the smiles. The raw, unseen truth of what aging feels like when the world stops asking and starts ignoring. But what if I told you this isn't the end? What if joy, laughter, and healing still wait on the other side of 80? Welcome back, my beautiful family. If your heart's beating a little faster right now, you're in the right place. Like this video to honor someone over 70. Subscribe to stay part of this powerful journey. Share this with someone you love, young or old. And drop a comment below telling us where you're watching from. Because today, we're uncovering what a truly happy senior life looks like. Not the polished version, the real one. Let's begin. Number 1. The day you stop feeling forgotten. Because happiness begins the moment you realize you still matter. It doesn't happen with fireworks. No one throws a big party. No banner drops from the sky. It happens on a quiet morning. You're sitting in your chair, same window, same cup of lukewarm tea. You've had this routine for years now. Everything outside looks the same. But inside, something feels a little more hollow. That's what being forgotten feels like. Not dramatic. Just empty. You remember when people used to call. Your phone would buzz. Your door would knock. Even if it was just your neighbor asking about the weather, you were part of something. Now, they don't mean to leave you out. They just don't think about you as much. They think you're too tired or too busy, or maybe they assume you don't care. But you do. You care more than they know. You care so much it hurts. Because being alive and being invisible are not the same thing. And somewhere along the way, the world started treating you like you're both. Then one day, something small happens. Someone knocks. Someone calls. Maybe a grandson, maybe a nurse. Maybe just a kind stranger who says, "Hey, I was thinking about you today." That one sentence changes your entire mood. Not because of what they said, but because they remembered. You were seen. That's the day you stop feeling forgotten. And in that moment, you start to feel human again. The brain is wired for connection. It doesn't matter if you're 18 or 88. Being ignored activates the same emotional pain centers as physical injury. Yes, it literally hurts to be left out. That's why something as simple as eye contact, a phone call, or a shared smile can release dopamine and oxytocin, the chemicals that signal love, trust, and happiness. And that's why the happiest seniors aren't the ones with the most money or the biggest house. They're the ones who still feel seen, heard, wanted. If you're over 80 and reading this, please know you're not forgotten. You're part of this story family. And your presence, your voice, your life still matters more than ever. And if you're younger, here's the truth. You don't have to do something huge to make an elder feel remembered. Just say their name. Ask a question. Call on a Tuesday for no reason at all. Because you never know when your voice becomes their spark. In summary, we don't need to be saved. We just need to be remembered. Because the day you stop feeling forgotten, that's the day you finally remember who you are and just how much joy is still left in you. Number 2, finding purpose after everyone else stops asking. When people stop needing you, you must start needing yourself. At some point after 70 or 80, the world around you gets quieter. Not in sound, but in requests. Fewer people ask for your help. Fewer ask for your advice. Fewer ask anything at all. Once, you were the one they all ran to. You solved problems. You gave answers. You were mom, grandpa, boss, leader, builder. You had roles, titles, identity. And now, you're retired. You're resting. You're taking it easy. At first, it sounds nice, peaceful, deserved. But over time, that silence becomes something heavier. You start asking yourself, do they still need me? Am I still useful? And if you're not careful, that turns into, do I still matter? Why purpose is everything after 80? Most people think seniors need medicine, rest, or entertainment. But what they really need is purpose. Studies show that having a daily sense of purpose improves mental clarity, emotional well-being, immune function, sleep quality, even longevity. In fact, seniors with strong purpose live longer and happier, regardless of physical limitations. That's because the human brain is wired for meaning. We are not meant to just exist. We are meant to contribute, even in small ways. What does purpose look like now? Purpose after 80 won't always look the way it used to. It may not be running a company, raising a child, or building a house. But it might be teaching your great-grandchild how to tie their shoes, planting flowers and watching them bloom, calling a friend who's lonelier than you, writing down your story so your family never forgets it, helping your neighbor carry groceries, feeding the birds outside your window. It doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be real. You're allowed to redefine yourself. No one talks about how hard it is to lose your roles in life. It feels like you're walking into a new chapter without a title. But here's the truth. You get to rewrite it. You are not just a former teacher. You're a lifelong guide. You are not just a retired mechanic. You're a problem solver with wisdom no machine could match. You are not finished. You are still becoming. So when no one asks anymore, ask yourself, what would make me feel alive today? Then do that, even if it's small, even if it's quiet. Because the happiest seniors are not the ones who wait to be needed. They're the ones who find new reasons to wake up each morning. You are not here by accident. Your time is not over. There is still purpose inside you, waiting to be picked back up. And the world, it still needs what only you can give. Number 3, laughing again for no reason at all. Because joy doesn't retire when you do. There's a special kind of happiness that only makes sense when you stop chasing it. It's not about success, money, or recognition. It's not about achieving anything at all. It's a kind of joy that sneaks up on you when you're not expecting it. You're sitting by the window, watching birds argue over crumbs. You remember something silly your brother said 40 years ago, and suddenly you laugh. Not a fake laugh, not a polite one. A deep belly laugh that surprises even you. That's when you realize happiness after 80 doesn't always come from the big things. It comes from remembering how to notice the small ones, why seniors stop laughing, and why it matters. As we age, life naturally becomes heavier. Friends pass. The body weakens. Independence changes. People stop sharing jokes with you. They speak slower, softer, like life isn't funny anymore. And slowly, without noticing, we stop laughing. But this matters more than people realize, because laughter is medicine, literally. Research shows that regular laughter lowers stress hormones like cortisol, boosts immunity, improves memory, reduces blood pressure, increases oxygen intake, even improves social connection and mood, and it costs nothing. What triggers that joy? The happiest seniors don't wait for others to entertain them. They find moments that stir something light inside. It could be listening to your favorite old song, rewatching a comedy you've loved since your 30s, watching a toddler try to explain the world, reading an old letter and seeing your younger self again, telling a story so ridiculous that you can't get through it without giggling. The secret: you stop trying to impress anyone. And when that pressure disappears, joy walks back in. Joy is not immature, it's survival. Some people treat laughter like it belongs to the young. They think growing older means growing serious. But the truth is, laughter is how we stay alive inside. The seniors who smile more, laugh often, and find humor even in pain. They tend to bounce back quicker from illness, handle loneliness better, and live longer. Why? Because laughter reminds your brain, I'm still here, I still feel, I still belong. So if no one's asked you to laugh lately, let me be the one. Watch something silly. Call someone who always made you laugh. Let yourself be ridiculous. Because after all the tears, after all the grief, after all the hard-earned wisdom, you deserve to laugh again. Not because life is perfect, but because you've survived enough to know. Sometimes laughing for no reason is the best reason of all. Number 4, healing from old hurts you thought would never leave. because some wounds don't show up on x-rays. By the time you're 80, you've lived through more than most will ever understand. You've buried people you loved. You've forgiven people who never said sorry. You've carried secrets so deep, no one even knows they're there. And some days, they still ache, like old scars reacting to the weather. Everyone talks about the pain in your back or knees, but few ever ask about the pain in your heart. The truth is, some emotional wounds stay with us for decades. A betrayal. A child who stopped calling. Words you can't forget. A choice you regret. A goodbye that came too soon. You tuck them away, thinking you're being strong. But strength isn't always about holding on. Sometimes, real strength is in letting go. The science of emotional pain. You may think these old hurts are just in your head, but science says otherwise. Emotional pain triggers the same regions of the brain as physical pain. It affects sleep, immune response, blood pressure, mental clarity, even how fast your body heals. In short, your unspoken grief could be hurting you more than aging itself. That's why healing isn't optional, it's survival. How healing actually happens. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means releasing the weight so it doesn't drag you down anymore. And healing doesn't have to be big, dramatic, or public. It could be writing a letter you never send, saying I forgive you out loud, even if no one hears, crying for something you never allowed yourself to grieve, telling your story finally after 40 years of silence, apologizing to yourself for being too hard on the person you used to be. Healing happens in quiet moments of truth. Why healing is still possible, even at 80 plus. Some people say, it's too late for that. But here's what they don't realize. The mind is always capable of processing and releasing pain at any age. Your brain can create new emotional pathways even in your 80s and beyond. You can literally rewire your story. And when you do, you get your peace back. You sleep better. You smile more. You stop replaying scenes from a past that no longer needs to define you. In summary, you don't have to carry every hurt to the finish line. You've done enough. You've held enough. Maybe today's the day you say, that pain no longer owns me. And maybe, for the first time in years, you feel a little lighter. Because healing isn't just for the young. It's for the brave. And you're still here, so it's not too late. Number 5, knowing that peace isn't found, it's chosen. Because happiness isn't something you chase. It's something you allow. By the time you reach your 80s, you've seen enough life to know this one truth. Peace doesn't come when everything is perfect. It comes when you decide to stop trying to control what isn't yours to hold anymore. There's a quiet kind of joy that arrives when the world stops demanding so much from you. And for the first time in decades, you finally hear your own voice again. Not the voice that had to shout to be heard. Not the one that had to be strong for everyone else. But the one inside you, soft, calm, and honest. Why peace isn't about circumstance. People often say, I'll be happy when my health improves, when my kids visit more, when life slows down. But real peace doesn't wait on the outside world to calm down. It begins when you decide to step back from the noise. After 80, you start to realize that some battles aren't worth fighting. Some grudges aren't worth keeping. And some things you thought mattered really don't. You don't need to win the argument. You don't need to fix the past. You don't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. What peace looks like at 80? Peace might look like a morning cup of tea in silence, sitting outside and watching birds come and go, listening to a favorite song without rushing anywhere, saying no without guilt, smiling without needing a reason. It's the freedom to enjoy simple things because you've learned they were the big things all along. You stop needing the world to clap for you, and you start clapping for yourself. The science of inner calm. Studies show that older adults who regularly practice calm reflection through prayer, meditation, or simple solitude report lower stress levels, better sleep, greater emotional resilience, longer life expectancy, deeper satisfaction with everyday life. Why? Because stillness allows the brain to regulate itself. It helps you process emotions, reduce fear, and increase gratitude. And gratitude is the seed of real peace. You may not have the speed you once did. You may not have the strength. But you have something more powerful than both. You have perspective. And with perspective comes peace. Peace doesn't mean nothing hurts. It means you've stopped letting pain drive your life. So today, breathe deeply. Let go of what you can't change. And choose peace, not because everything's perfect, but because you finally know what really matters. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. And it's the most beautiful kind of strength there is. In conclusion, you've made it this far in life not just by surviving, but by carrying strength no one ever saw. And now, you deserve peace. You deserve joy. You deserve to be seen again. Because happiness doesn't retire, it evolves. If this story touched your heart, like this video to show you're still here and still rising. Subscribe to stay connected to the stories that truly matter. Share this with someone who's forgotten their worth. And comment below where you're watching from. Your voice could be the one someone else needs to hear today. This isn't the end. This is the beginning of something beautiful.